good to be with you once again. We are continuing our study on the subject protocol. As you would agree with me, we've been studying from the book of Esther, precisely the chapter 1. And in this chapter, the lesson of protocol comes to us as you read in what was happening in the palace of King Ahasuerus, in Shushan the palace, and Queen Vashti is the first lady of this great emperor. And in this study, we have established a few points. First and foremost, we try to simply define what protocol is, and we said that protocol is the rules that govern behavior within spaces and around personalities. And we said that protocols are everywhere, in homes, in business places, in the public. And we said that as long as you step out, or once you step out of your own domain into another man's domain, you find yourself encountering protocol. So the rules that govern behavior, and these rules are basically about etiquette, proper norms of behavior, politeness, and so on and so forth. And so after we have looked at the word and defined it and explained it, we looked at the necessity and importance of protocol. And then we went on to look at the design of protocol. We want to bring the curtain down on this study today by concluding on the topic Vashti Failed. Vashti Failed. It's all in line with the study of protocol. Now, Queen Vashti failed in the palace about a requirement that the king wanted her to fulfill. And it was that the queen had invited Queen Vashti when he had thrown this banquet for 180 days, and beyond that he was throwing another week-long banquet within the palace of Shushan, and all his hierarchy of princes, officers, and the ordinary people, the citizens, were there. And on a particular day when the king was tipsy, was inebriated, and he made a rare request. He said the queen should come and display her beauty. Even though the man was drunk, it was not as if he had lost control of his senses or the use of his senses, because he made an express demand. He said, let her appear to display her beauty with her with her crown on. In other words, she should appear formally dressed as the queen with her crown on. And we are told that Queen Vashti refused to respond or refused to cooperate with the king in that, or the emperor in that request. What we want to know is Vashti failed. Why did Queen Vashti fail? And what did she fail? Let's start by what she failed. Queen Vashti failed the test of protocol in the king's palace. Protocol required that the king could make a demand like that, and so he made that in line with the rules that govern the behavior of the king on such occasions. And unfortunately, Queen Vashti failed that test of protocol when the test was applied to her. Now, at this juncture, I want to now go into why she failed. Having known that she failed the test of protocol, why did she fail the test of protocol? And at this juncture, I would like to think aloud, and I hope you permit me to do that. And so in thinking aloud, I'm looking at the reasons why she failed the test of protocol, or how she failed the test of protocol. Number one, is it mixed feelings that made Queen Vashti fail the test of protocol? If it was mixed feelings, then we would say that the demand was ambiguous. It was not very clear to her as to what the king actually meant, even though she heard the king but didn't understand what the emperor said. But I don't think it was one of mixed messaging. Otherwise, she wouldn't give any response at all, or she would give clarification, but she just outrightly denied the king what he requested. So it was not mixed messaging. Was it mixed feelings? Was she happy about it, or was she sad about it? Was she proud about it, or she was not proud about it? We have no indication that she had mixed feelings. She had a clear mind to be able to say no, and she did say no about it. Why would she say no? She had heard, and for whatever reason she considered, she decided to give the answer no to the king. It was not one of mixed feelings. Was it a sense of injury to womanhood that she felt, and because of which she said no to the emperor? It is doubtful that it was a sense of injury to womanhood. If that was the case, couldn't she have negotiated, found a way of navigating that issue instead of just refusing to go and comply with the demand of the king? So it's doubtful to say that it was a case of a sense of injury to womanhood that made Queen Vashti fail the test of protocol in the palace. Was it also ignorance? It could not be ignorance, in the sense that before you became a queen, you were brought into the harem of the king, and you were trained in how to use things like spices and sweet-scented or fragrances. So it tells you that there was a process by which anybody who became the queen was put through. And so she obviously would have been acquainted with the protocols of the palace. So it's difficult to say that she was ignorant of how she had to behave. She knew, she understood very well. It was not one of ignorance. And is it a case of misadvice of the handlers of the queen? It's difficult to actually say if the handlers played a role in that, but maybe they misadvised her. But if they misadvised her, was there no other way of looking for a second, third opinion in that brief moment? So we don't know exactly if it was actually the misadvice of handlers. And then finally, we can also think about the influence of alcohol, because it was a banquet time. The Queen Vashti, was having a banquet with the women in the palace. It was a big occasion. And was it that she was also tipsy, she was inebriated, she was drunk? Well, if she had a clear mind to say no, I don't think that it was a matter of the influence of alcohol. As we could at best say that she was also in the same frame of mind like the king, even though the Bible said the king was a bit tipsy. It was not the situation where he had lost the control of his mind. And so if Esther was drunk at all as the queen, she couldn't drink excessively as to lose her mind. So it's difficult to say that an impaired thinking as a result of alcohol is why Esther gave those responses which led to her failure of the test of protocol in the palace. So what possibly and what convincingly could have led Esther to this low point in her career, if I may so say? We can think about ego, the self, pride. Why would she outrightly reject the king's request and wouldn't make any attempt even to apologize after the king had been advised to find another queen to replace her? Esther made no attempt to redress the error she may have committed, the anger, the displeasure she might have caused the king. Esther made no such attempt. And so you could see that this was a woman who was full of herself, and unfortunately on that occasion, herself took the better part of her. Her judgment was either beclouded or overwhelmed by the self, the ego, her own feelings, and as a result of that, she ignored the protocol in the palace. She refused the king in such an embarrassing manner without even sensitivity to the king, and so she behaved the way she did. So ego must have been one of the factors that caused Queen Vashti to fall. The other thing we can talk about is attitude. Once there is ego, there is always an attitude. Ego is animated by attitude. It's a feeling that is portrayed in a mental posture. That's what an attitude is. And sometimes that posture reflects in other forms of body language, the thing you say, the expression on your face, maybe a pout on your lips, and so on, and things like that. So we can clearly attribute two factors to the fall of Queen Vashti as to why she failed the test of protocol in the palace on an auspicious occasion and brought embarrassment to the emperor, the husband, which affected all the men in the kingdom, because that's how it was translated by the wise men in the kingdom. Her behavior was translated as disrespect and violation of the authority of the kingdom. Remember that kingdom was a male-dominated kingdom, if you like, a male-dominated kingdom, and so she should have been sensitive to all of that, and she should have been smarter in handling what it was, the request of the king. People have suggested that it was all kinds of things, but there's no evidence. When you read the narrative, the biblical account of what happened in the palace, out of which the lesson protocol has been extracted. So she failed not because of mixed messaging or mixed feelings or a sense of injury to womanhood, nor did she fail as a result of ignorance, misadvice of handlers, or alcohol. But she failed convincingly on two factors: ego and attitude. And I think that those two factors still cause people to disrespect a protocol where they find themselves. Sometimes because of ego, they want to flout the protocol, they want to disrespect the handlers or the personnel involved in protocol, and sometimes because of attitude, they create problems for themselves with protocol and they are resistant. And so these two factors, ego, attitude, if we watch them, we will mind protocol and show respect to the people and the spaces we try to seek something from, or the people we want to see or go and look for the favors, for the assistance we need. I hope I've brought some useful lessons to you today on this occasion where we are drawing down the curtain on our study of protocol. May the Lord help you to watch your own ego and your attitude so that it doesn't get into the way of what you are looking for, so it doesn't declare good judgment, it doesn't declare good behavior, so you are not in trouble just like Queen Vashti found herself. May the Lord be with you. I'll catch you again. Bye.